YouTubes. It's a few hours before I have to go to work, but I've been tinkering with the truck here. I've been trying to figure out how to get these electric fuel pumps to come on, because this is different than the OBS setup. The OBS setup, you can just jump one of the computer relays and, you know, key on and off you're going. First of all, I was worried about my fittings back there. Nothing's leaking. That high pressure line right there, I was worried about it leaking, but yeah, it's not a problem. And the other fitting back there is nice and dry. Everything else is nice and dry. Carburetor's dry. So what I did is, well, first of all, I looked up some diagrams, and I was just trying to figure out, you know, where the main source of power that feeds the electric fuel pumps. And so normally you'd have this whole EFI harness here, and it would have another relay that would come down. I don't know if it would, you know, find out that this is the turn on wire for the pumps. Who knows, we could probably test that. But I was having a problem trying to map that stuff. I can map where, you know, there's a wire going to the you know, selector switch, because it says 2 tanks. So I had a brain fart. I was like, okay, so I'm missing all this harness, because I took it all out and I've already sold it to one of you guys. So what I ended up doing was, you know, I kind of jumped the gun on this, but see where my green wire is going down? That is the wire that used to plug into the high pressure fuel pump, and I have my own harness going there because I thought I was gonna have to rewire this. It's much simpler than that. And what I did is I ended up just putting power to that pink and black striped wire that's down there, and that feeds into the selector switch. Oh, it's hot in here. Yeah, so that selector switch is right there. And that switch gets hot power all the time, so you can't actually switch tanks while it's off. So anyways, I put power down there, and I'm just running this. This is just running the low pressure pump. This is temporary just to get it to work. I'd hook it up so you can hear it, but we got a lot of Cummins flying up the street. See, I don't know if you can. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to hear it. It's too much shit going on. But anyways, I put power down to that, and I heard the fuel pump come on, and I heard the front one come on. It was trying to put some fuel up here, and then once I hooked up, this relay here is hooked to the high pressure pump, and when I turn that on, I got power to both pumps, and I got about 1 to 2 psi. I think I had that regulator set kind of low. I'm gonna bump it up to about 4 or 5. Probably 4 would be good, really. We'll see if it'll go higher than that, because you have, you know, one line going in and then the rest of it's going back out to the tank. So we'll see how well that works. That's how someone else did it, so worked for them. But anyways, yeah, so basically if you put power down to that line there, you know, that will power that'll give power to the selector switch, and that'll feed power to the front pump, and when you switch to the rear, it'll give power to the rear field pump, which I found it does work. So I'm sure it needs some fresh gas, so I'll probably end up filling it up. I don't know if the sender works. I'm hoping the senders work, because I don't want to have to spend money on those. But yeah, so what I'm gonna end up doing with this relay is this wire here I'll probably shorten. I'll have to get in here and solder this together. I'll solder this lead to it, and this will feed our fuel pumps. I'm using this as my feed for the fuel pump. This has got hot at all times. It's a pretty good gauge wire. It was working great for these factory pumps, so I'm gonna roll with that. I gotta find a key on source, so I'll find a key on source that will go to this white wire here, and that will run our fuel pump. So key on, it turns on. I put a timing light on this, and it looks like we got 20 degrees of timing. Because it was hitting that, you know, you have a scale, let's see, in between my two fingers. When I set it for the 10 on the right hand side. When I put my light on it, I had, it was right at the 20 mark. So I'm not sure with this distributor if it has to have its vacuum advance hooked up, because I know they say, you know, adjust the timing with vacuum advance disconnected, but I'm not sure if this one has to have vacuum advance. So I might hook it up and see where the timing goes, because it's at 20 right now, 20 degrees advance. So maybe it just already has too much timing, we need to just back it off. So we'll fiddle fart with that. But for the first part of this video, I just wanted to show you that's how I'm wiring up my fuel pump and ignition. So these wires here are gonna get gone. Well, they'll probably get actually there's a pigtail I need to get for this. So I'll get the pigtail, and all this is gonna be like in a loom, and it's just gonna kind of sneak across. I might even try and tuck it somewhere. I just want to make it so you can't see it. Alright. Check it out. So, got our new fuel pump relay here. Mostly wired up. I gotta just do a little bit of cleanup here. This giant wire here, gets direct battery power. I'm gonna use this to feed this relay. I've got this little white wire here as my trigger. On a little scrap wire I got. Goes to this white with blue. Same wire I use on the 82 for a key on for my injection pump and other stuff. So that's gonna run that relay. And I did find that if you take that wire and jump it to that one, it cranks the engine. So we're just gonna go ahead and take that one and take that up. This one here I'm gonna clip off, tape it up, move it to the side. It does nothing. I don't think it gets any power. I think it's a signal wire. One thing I wanted to mention, when you take the EFI harness out, there's a part you're gonna have to clip out, like this wire here, and you're gonna have to unloom this from the EFI harness. That's just one thing about the wiring that you'll need to do. This I'm gonna clean up, and I'm gonna tape up with some electrical tape and leave that be. That'll be our little harness that will go there. Yeah. So I forgot to put heat shrink on this, go figure. I'm gonna tape this up real good and then just tuck that back a little bit there. That red wire is the output wire from that relay. It's going down to our pink with a black stripe down there to the high pressure fuel pump. That also feeds the selector switch, which determines which intake pump gets power when you switch it around. So it's a little noisy. You got someone mowing the lawn, and there's people doing 110 miles an hour up and down the road. So if you can hear over the loud diesel trucks, key on, and I did crank it, and I still got power at that. So, and a nice like 10 or 11 volts while cranking. So, yeah, I'm not trying not to tidy up too much because I want to hook up the ignition and try and get it to fire up. I'm actually still got to play around with this timing. Right now I think it's a little cold, or got too much timing or something, because she's a little unhappy. Got fuel pressure, so that's good, but yeah, I got like 20 degrees of timing. Yeah, let's just see if we can start it up now that we don't have to man the fuel pump anymore. We can do it automatically because we've got a relay. Hook up our ignition here. I'm gonna start working on that next here now that I got that part done. That was what I was not looking forward to. Okay, we got choke off. give her a couple of squirts. She's probably gonna be really loud. Jimmy, you need the key. Oh, let's get this out of the way. Nothing else is in the way? Okay. I gotta get some new belts for this thing. That alternator belt's pretty clapped out. That 3G needs some juice when she starts. Said. Oh, I still gotta hook up the pack. Still too cold to take the choke off. She's almost there. And then fuel pumps off. Cool, that actually fired up. It well, see, my problem is that choke actually kind of, I think it's advanced a little too much. So I might have to adjust the choke. But what I think is happening is, you know, when I put the ignition on and then I put, you know, jump the choke, by the time I come over here, it's already starting to open up. So, yeah. I know the factory setup usually runs off the back of the alternator and it runs at like half the voltage, so the choke runs a little longer. I think we'll be fine with 12 volts. A lot of other people were doing 12 volt to the choke. It seemed like if we just, you know, give it a couple squirts, fire it up, you know, let it run for a teeny weeny bit, you know, like a minute, and then, you know, womp womp, it kind of fingered itself out. But I'll probably adjust that choke to where it's a little bit not as quick to, you know, open up the choke. But as you saw, as soon as I, you know, turn the key, I had, you know, just ignition, no choke. Just turn the key, it pretty much just fired right up. So that was kind of cool. Yeah, so this nice and cool. Relay is cool. You know, these wires are cool. I don't think these pumps are pulling that much amperage. Plus, I mean, some of the wires that the fuel pump was getting originally, I mean, it's really not that big. I think what I'm running here for wiring is bigger than what that's got down there, so. Anyways, that's pretty much done. I ended up not going with my, sorry, you guys are zoomed in a little bit. Ended up not going with my plan of using this to use the fuel cutoff relay, and the reason why I decided not to do that is because I just didn't want to have any problems with the old system, and I decided, you know, what if we start having problems with that, you know, like original cutoff relay. And then we're like, I don't know why it won't start, you know, the fuel pump's running, but now we don't have ignition or something stupid, and it's all because of that relay that I wired in. So I decided to not do that and just make it simple. Hopefully when we get into an accident, we can quickly turn the power or the ignition off, and we'll be good to go. I mean, you know, when you had a originally carbureted vehicle that didn't have, you know, the fuel shut off stuff, you know, you get in an accident, and you know, it happens to be still running or whatever, you know, are you gonna remember to turn it off? So I'm gonna end up, you know, not running that and leave it as is. So yeah, I'm going to work on that, get that cleaned up a little bit, tidied up, and then over here I gotta find out where my key on. I hope I don't have to undo this loom too much. Looks like I started it here, but yeah, I'm gonna try and find my key on wire here, and put my other relay is gonna go back here, I think. Or I might even mount it here since I've already got a hole there. That's where the map sensor used to go. That relay is gonna run choke and ignition. I'm almost wondering if I should run choke on a switch. I'm not sure. Alright, tubes, got my wiring done. I tapped into, okay, for my ignition relay, it's this green with like a purple. That's a key on. That key on turns the alternator on, but I'm using it to turn this relay on, which is operating the electric choke and the ignition. I didn't get a pigtail. I probably won't get one until those spades come off, so we'll fix that at a later date. But for right now, that's what we're looking like. I do have a vacuum advance hooked up now. Starts up a little bit nicer. We'll find out here in a second. Got a little wiring harness. You can barely see it. Snaking along. Goes into a relay. And then this we talked about a little earlier. This is the relay for the fuel pumps. So that is hooked up. Just tidied some things up here. Made a little thing. I'd like to get a sheath for that just to dress it up. But yeah, let's see. Oh, in case you're wondering what size vacuum line to get for your vacuum advance, this is running a 3/16. I probably cut that a little short too. I thought I had it right. Let's see if I can start it without having to give it any kind of throttle. I just had it running and seemed to fire up pretty good. It's still not tuned, so it runs a little high. Wow, look at that. I don't know if the tack is accurate. This wire right here, the green wire, that's the tachometer. I just hooked it right up to the tack on the deal there. Let that choke come off. Yeah, that sounds about right. You know, for you younger kids, someone says, oh, put a timing light on it. This is what they're talking about. And negative, negative, positive, positive. Make sure you rub those in so they get a nice connection. And then you take, okay, hang on. I'm trying to do it so the wires aren't all crossed. And the wind's back. Well, we were at work, no wind, nice and sunny. Now it's cloudy, might rain. I'm just really annoyed, but it hasn't sprinkled on me yet, so. Okay, let's make sure we're not, let's disconnect it so we're good. Let's fire it up and see where that timing's at. I'll see if, hopefully the camera will pick it up. So if we're lucky, God, it just fires right up. The choke come off. Yeah, that tack's working pretty good. So the RPM, not the RPM, the timing, when I revved it up, I got it to come back to kind of like zero. We're way over here. We need to be over here. So the further over I go that way, it starts to idle down more. Oh, but we're gonna have some fun before we call it a day. Woo! Temp's a little high, but still bleeding out the coolant system. Yeah. What do you say? This is enough tuning I got for today. I got it running at 15 degrees timing. I had to disconnect what I thought was my vacuum advance. It does not like that. It's way too left. We need to get right or get left. The only thing I might adjust is my fuel pressure. Get it up to about 4 psi. So we get a little more volume of fuel, a little more pressure. Because we're running about 1. I think that's a little low. But yeah, since we still have some daylight, I'm gonna be cutting this exhaust out and getting a new kit for this. So guess what we're doing? Now let's hear this bitch. I'm getting a whole exhaust kit for it. And actually, I might even just cut that muffler out and throw a cherry bomb on it or something. Let's see, I got it all dialed in. Let's see if she fires up and idles correctly. Oh, wow. Get a cherry bomb for it. Choke probably cooled off, so I'll need to idle back down again. So we're about 1,000. Yeah, it'll idle down here in a little bit. Yeah, tach's working decently. It's a little sketchy. There we go, we're idling back down. I'm gonna set it to like 950.